How's it going, folks? Just down here at the aquaponics today because I'm going to finally harvest the ginger that's in the yellow barrels behind me there. They've been in there for quite a few more months than they probably needed to be. Probably could have taken them out around about June. What is today? 1st of September, first day of spring for us, so happy spring, folks. So anyway, I'll bring the camera over, we'll have a bit of a dig around and we'll see what sort of a yield we're going to get. So these two ginger barrels are just set up behind the aquaponics system here. Just down in there we have the sump tank, and on top of that is the first grow bed. Absolutely chockers with Okinawan spinach. These two barrels are pretty much all just fed from that white PVC line over the back, and then I've hooked up a couple of 13mm pieces of irrigation hose with some holes in them. So I've posted a clip when I made these barrels up. They're actually located somewhere else in the system here, and we moved them around the back here when we started to run out of room. So check out the clip if you're interested to see how they've been put together. They're basically very similar to a Dutch barrel, or a Dutch bucket I should say. The outlet's down the bottom there and it just runs straight into the sump tank. So in this barrel here we have a Kangkong over the back there. We also have a Warrigal green in the far right corner there. It's popped up all by itself. I'd say one of the seeds was in the clay that I've recycled. And this is one of the ginger plants I'll be taking out. There's just one rhizome that survived in there. The other two rotted off. And over in this one here, underneath all that Okinawan spinach, there should be 3 lots of rhizome that grew, so I have to dig them out. I think the spinach needs a bit of a trim back, and I'll throw that in the compost. So anyway, that's where they are, and that's what they're sort of looking like at the moment. I'll set this camera up and we'll start hacking back the spinach. So this shouldn't take too long. Now, a couple of these pieces of ginger, as you can probably make out, they're still growing, they still survived through winter here. I think I'll just snip these off actually. Beautiful ginger scent from the stalks. So I've turned off the master valve to these little feed-in lines, and all I'm going to do is just pull the pipe off. They come off fairly easy, like so, just so I can get to all this ginger. Actually, down in here it looks like some of this ginger's getting ready to sprout again. We've got some nice little green shoots on them. So what we've got here is 3 rhizomes. We've got a rhizome here that was planted out, one here and one over here. So what I'm going to try and do is collect as many clay balls as I can and just pop them into this root pouch here. We'll start from this side. This might take a while, folks, so we might just speed it up for you. So I'm just trying to dig out underneath the rhizome itself because these roots seem to be holding it in place. So trying to loosen these guys up so I can see if I can grab it out in one section. There we go, I think we got him now. So there we go. First bit of aquaponic ginger. Looking pretty nice. Don't know if you can make that out with the shadow at all, but there's the original piece of ginger that went in. We'll have a bit of a closer look once I clean them all up. Oops, I just broke a bit off. So there we go. Just pop him to one side. I'm just pulling out as many of these root sections as I can as well because I don't want to leave them in the clay here, make it easier to clean. Some roots that go down a fair way here. So anyway, on to this next one. So here we go, here's the next section. See if we can work him out slowly. Oh, broke his root off, but that's alright. Not as big as the first, but still not a bad looking bit of ginger. Just pop him to one side and do the final one. There we go. Nice looking piece of ginger there as well. So I'll just go pop these two up with their friend and then we'll start on the next barrel. This ginger here is actually the largest rhizome out of the 4, so it'll be interesting to see how big he is once he's out, I think. This is from one of the other rhizomes that didn't make it, just got rotted out, so Wonder if there's any worms in there. There were a few worms in this barrel when I started them off, so I can't see anything. I can go to the chooks. Oh, we might be able to pull him out now. A bit of I just snapped a little bit off. Yeah, I just broke this one into two. So there we go. Not a bad looking piece of ginger. There we go, I've just broken it off into three. And you can see the mother one quite clearly there. It's a lot darker than the rest. So not bad at all. We'll try and get the rest of these roots out and then we'll go and weigh it all up. So I'm just cleaning up all these bits of ginger. Just trying to get all the root sections off and taking all the clay out and taking out any of the little red wriggler compost worms that I find in here as well. Come on, little matey. And try and get him out without hurting him. So, oops, gonna have to break it. There we go. So, this little fella here, he can go back into the barrel. Some of these bits don't want to break off so easy. So just to show you, this is the ginger that was planted out originally, and all this is growing from this little section here. And you can might be able to make out there's a couple of new growth points just starting to peek through. So this ginger is getting ready to shoot again. So I think I've harvested it a little bit too late. Just onto this last section now. Yeah, so that looks like it. Looks like it's all nice and clean now, so I'll just clean off the top of this table and get the scales up here. So we'll start from the last piece harvested. This was from the second barrel. And what we have here is roughly 1.15 kilograms or 1,150 grams. And the third piece from the first barrel, 624 grams, fairly respectable. Oops, something's going on there. There we go. Dodgy scales, I tell you. 792 grams. And the first large bit we took out. If I can get this all to balance on here properly. Is 1.145. Pretty much all the same as that piece there. So while not a massive huge yield, definitely encouraging. I think I will try a few more spices in the aquaponics. The next one I'm going to try this year will be galangal, and also I'll pop a few more ginger rhizomes in as well. So there you go, folks, there's a bit of a look at the aquaponic ginger harvest for 2015. A fairly respectable, decent harvest, I think, at 3.7 kilograms or 8.1 pounds. Definitely not in the bumper category, that's for sure. But yeah, for my first time in the aquaponics, I think it did all right. One of my downfalls was I think I put in some of the rooting sections or the root stock. Some of the sections were a little bit too small. I only had one or two of the little green knobby growth points for the leaves to come out of. After reading up on a couple of different websites through the year, I think I might use larger sections with 3 to 4 little growth points where the leaves will come from in the next crop. The next crop, I'll be planting out 2 different lots. I'll basically using 2 methods, aquaponic and in the wicking beds or wicking barrels. So 2 barrels of ginger alongside 2 barrels of galangal, my other favourite spice, and also probably 1 or 2 barrels, wicking barrels of ginger behind the lime tree bed down there, just to see how they go. Be interesting as a comparison. I'll try and get bits from the same plant and grow them and see what does better. Ginger in my homemade compost or ginger in the aquaponics. As for how I'm going to be using this lot, well, a lot of it, what we don't use as rootstock for the next crop, will be turned into a ginger paste. I've done it before, just basically put it in the food processor, turned it into a paste, and then jarred it or canned it, and then left it on the shelf in the pantry for when we needed it. And then basically just add it to stir fries once the jar's open, keep it in the fridge, that sort of thing. It's just a good way to extend the shelf life of the ginger. I found it goes off pretty quickly if we just leave large root sections in the base of the fridge. Lost a lot of my first harvest to that. Some of it will also be kept aside to use fresh. We'll use it in things like our morning juices. I love it in the juices with apple, carrot, and lemon or lime. Absolutely fantastic juice. Also plan to use it fresh in meals. Like tonight I'm hoping to make up a lemongrass and ginger stir-fry veg to go alongside a pork belly. So hopefully that'll please the women of the house. So thanks for stopping by and checking out the clip. If you've got any comments, questions or suggestions, feel free to pop them in the comments section below and I'll get back to you where I can. If this is the first one of our clips you've seen, we do a fair few on aquaponics and urban farming and that sort of thing, so feel free to subscribe and you'll get an email letting you know when we post a clip. Also too, just to spruik another tuber here in southeast Queensland, check out Jeff Harriet's channel. He's into commercial line fishing, beekeeping. He also does a lot of organic gardening in his backyard. He and Wilma get some absolutely fantastic ginger harvest, so check out Jeff's channel. Well worth stopping by and saying g'day. But I will pretty much will leave it there. Hope everyone is well and happy, and I will catch you next clip. Cheers folks.